But I think the first starting pitcher for us to talk about, you mentioned a little bit, who's going to be getting the pill on opening day, who's been a reliable arm for us and in baseball for the last few years, is Gerrit Cole. Uh, Cole through today, how do you like how he looked and how are you feeling about Gerrit this spring?
I mean, his stuff looked great. I want to say that he might have made one mistake or two mistakes, if that. I think he hung a ball middle that got hammered to left center for a double earlier on in the game. But besides that, his stuff was pinpoint. His command was there. He was not getting behind in counts. He was striking out people as you would expect. And I think most importantly, the velo is up high 90s again. So I think that's the main thing you got to look out for with him. So everything looks like it's in place for him to have a really solid start to the season. Um, I think it's just a matter of if he can keep the ball in the park is always kind of the biggest question when it comes to Gerrit Cole in a Yankees uniform. It seems like he's bit by the long ball because he challenges guys up in the zone, which is bound to happen. But at the same time, that's what's hurt him the most. And that's what hurt the Yankees the most whenever he was on the mound. He's going to give you 200 innings in a season and give you probably 250 plus strikeouts, which is amazing. And that's kind of what you ask for out of your ace, right? But at this point, I think we want to see a few less home runs leave the park. And but besides that, I'm very excited to see him on opening day and for the start of the season just in general.
Yeah, with Cole, you kind of know what you're going to get. And ultimately, I think in Yankees fandom, a lot of people get down on Cole at times. He is prone to giving up a homer. Um, Sometimes that ball, when he's off, can look super flat, even though it's still being thrown at 101 miles an hour with some crazy spin rate stuff coming up. Good luck. If you stand in the box and try to hit Gerrit Cole down the middle, we saw Shohei Ohtani attack Mike Trout the other day with a fastball down the middle. It's not so easy. But, Gerrit Cole is about as reliable of an arm as you can get. We had this conversation earlier in the winter with J Ray, who jumped on. Where do you see Gerrit Cole in terms of the scope of the whole league? Is he a top five pitcher? I would argue wholeheartedly that he is, even though on a given year he might be the fifth, sixth best pitcher in the game or even in the league. Last year he finished ninth in the AL Cy Young voting. But you look at his numbers, he had a down year, 3.47 FIP. His ERA, what did it end up being?
I
Why
want to
can't
say
I find ERA on
3.54 or
Fangraphs?
something
His
like that. Or
3.54.
in
Yeah.
3.5. Yeah.
Um, but looking at the scale strictly of what he gives you, 200 innings, led the AL in 257 strikeouts, was an all-star. That was a down year for him. Going to the baseball reference projections, or I can also give the Fangraphs projections as well. Baseball reference projects him at 179 innings, 215 strikeouts already just at that. That's with a 77% reliability. You take that, that's a Cy Young front runner.
Mm-hmm.
Just there alone. Looking at Fangraphs projections, they have him at 199 innings, 3.02 ERA, and a 4.5 WAR. So that's going like these projections are based off of all of his data with 90% confidence what they think his median value should be.
And how many other pitchers
Gerrit
are
Cole is
going
going to
to?
be,
Oh, sorry. I was just going to say how many other pitchers is going to give you 200 innings too, and like not just give you 200, but be projected to give you 200 innings. That kind of goes to show how
exactly.
high.
And
Yeah, that just goes to show how highly all of these different companies, Fangraphs, Steamer, all of them think about how durable Gerrit Cole is, and that's huge.
yeah, and you look at the top arms of the past few years, Corbin Burns had a great year, Justin Verlander, Sandy Alcantara, these guys at the top, and Dylan Cease. You haven't seen them do it back to back years. Even Carlos Rodon, who we just signed, is one of the most repeatable pitchers of the last, what,
Few
only two
years.
seasons, three seasons
Yeah.
going off of that sample size. So, like, Gerrit Cole is a comfortable number one. He's going to be the best pitcher in the AL East, most likely. He's going to be up there, top five in the American League. I love seeing him throw. He's going to stumble into a few homers. It's really interesting you go to the Fangraphs projections, they have him locked in for 26 homers of the 69 earned runs they think he's going to give up. That's over 35% of the total runs he gives up coming off of home runs alone. And
Yeah.
that's just from the runner scoring, let alone 2-run homers, 3-run homers. In the past, last year, 33 homers. That's where we really felt it. The difference between really a decent number one year and a Cy Young contending year like 2021 uh, was 10 home runs. He gave up 24 home runs in 2021. So that's where we can see the difference, in his Cy Young year, where he should have won the Cy Young, in my opinion, in 2019. He was dominant, didn't lose a game from July on. He still gave up 29 homers. So it's something that's going to come with the territory of Cole. It's just a matter of how many runners does he get on base. He doesn't walk very many guys, strikes out a ton, gets the double play when he needs to. It's really a matter of limiting those base runners before that potential comes up to the plate.
Yeah. I mean, if he's given up 1-run homers and solo shots in the freaking seventh inning and it's already 7-3 Yankees or 7-1, whatever it may be, then I don't really care too much. It's just about like limiting the traffic beforehand, like you said. And looking at his fan graphs, this is or not fan graphs, sorry, Baseball Savant. He's 92nd percentile in K rate, which means he's striking out a whole lot of people. Fastball velocity 93rd percent. Barrel rate is bottom 15th percent, and then exit velo is bottom 25th. So if he's, I mean, it's basic physics at this point. If the ball is connected with that kind of velo, it's going to go very far. So that's the homers are inevitable, but like you said, and we're in both in agreement on this. He just needs to keep guys off the bags, and a lot of that's going to come down to the defense as well. If the Yankees can provide good defense in the infield, a lot of those runs that will be scoring that aren't necessarily like unearned runs are just going to be a non-factor. And I think we should expect plenty of that from him this year. So we'll get into, the semantics of the middle infield and the outfield later on, but I think that's going to play a big factor for him. And when it comes to pitching alone, he's got what it takes to have another Cy Young caliber year, and I don't see any kind of regression just yet.
Yeah, and even look at game one last year of ALDS, the type of game that he had. 6 innings. Stephen Kwan clips him for a solo shot. And then he just missing barrels, a lot of strikeouts, getting through a really good contact hitting lineup. And sometimes they're just going to stumble into one. So I'm a huge fan of Cole. I'm wearing a Cole jersey right now, actually. I just realized. So I'm excited for him this year. I think this could be a Cy Young year for him. Not a lot of years left in his prime. Yankees are really in win mode. He has more pitching support behind him. I think he can really kind of go for it. And he's always going to go for it. He's going to give that scale. And the Yankees are thin right now, starting pitching wise. So we kind of need him innings early, and even down the stretch. We don't have many 7, 8 starting pitcher caliber guys to come in and fill in the rotation. We're going to need Cole to give us length to alleviate our bullpen, because we also don't have a long man when our long men are in the rotation themselves.